so good, so deep. It's because of magnetism. In other words, our bodies need magnetism. So when those rocks, when those meteors hit the Earth and broke apart the Earth, it at least started it. And then, of course, in the days of Peleg, I don't know that we'll get to that tonight, but the Earth is then divided. And the reason, these guys explained to me, they said the reason the Earth divided is because it used to be a smaller Earth. But when the Earth divided, because there wasn't as much magnetism to hold it together, it began to expand and get larger. And that is what caused the Earth and their surfaces to spread apart. So if you could imagine, if you had a map, and I've talked about this 2 weeks ago, I actually showed a map. You can push like Australia right up into the right place. You can push North and South America together. You can push the England and Greenland, and you can push all of those together, and they kind of fit together. You can see that there used to be one landmass. My point is, the pre-flood world probably, I wasn't there, but probably had a higher oxygen content. It definitely had a higher magnetism content. So by having more oxygen, probably the pre-flood man could run all day long at a dead run, not get winded, probably not wear out. They had more light because pre-flood was a different world. They lived, well, Methuselah lived 969 years. We're about to see that. They lived a long time because they had more of the elements that they need. Like, for example,
what they didn't have was sin. That's why they lived a long time.
Well, that's part of it. Well, no, they still had sin. I mean, after Adam and Eve ate of the fruit, they had sin.
Yeah, we haven't got to that chapter yet, though.
Oh, yeah, well, we're still pre-sin.
You're talking about it was a clean place to live, and it was not cursed.
Right. Like, for example, we have wisdom teeth. Almost everybody has to have the wisdom teeth pulled out. We also get wrinkles. I think the reason we get wrinkles is because our skull structure is supposed to be continuing to grow, and that extra skin is supposed to be actually there for a reason. Just like we have extra wisdom teeth, they call them, are actually supposed to be additional teeth that are coming in. In some of the skulls that they found from some of the giants, and I've seen pictures of a giant skull big enough, I could get in a fetal position inside the cranium of one of these pre-flood giants. Huge. Some of them even had 2 rows of teeth. They found some of them that had 6 fingers and 6 toes. And the Bible even talks about some of them, some of the giants had 6 fingers and 6 toes. The Bible also describes them as being the size of a cedar tree. Well, okay, so I have a cedar tree in my backyard, and it's about 50 foot tall. But that's post-flood. So you can imagine a 50-foot cedar, they're being about that tall. It was probably, I know that when we went to Noah's grave, actually we found, Ron Wyatt found Noah's wife's grave, and we were there, we measured, if my memory serves me correct, it was 13 feet, head to toe. That's Noah's wife. So probably Noah was in the ballpark of 15 to 17 foot high. But he was not a giant. So giants were probably 30, 40, 50 foot tall. Huge. So probably the pre-flood kangaroo was a Tyrannosaurus rex. The post-flood is a kangaroo, what we call a kangaroo. Like the saber-toothed tiger had huge, you know, the big teeth sticking down, but the tigers of today, they aren't that big. So my point is, they had a much more energetic, alive Earth. Everything grew. Also, pre-flood, they had no night. I mean, it was a 24-hour. They had no. That's not what. They had no winter. They had a night, but they ain't no winter. One of the things when we get to Noah's Ark, we'll talk about. I'll probably bring a piece of Noah's Ark here so you can see it. And it has no growth rings. Pre-flood wood had no growth rings because there was no summer. It was a constant year-round growing. There was no cold. Wouldn't that be nice to have a wonderful temperature, say 70, 75 degrees year-round?
Almost sounds like Texas.
Okay. I think we're in 20. God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly, and moving creature hath life and fowl, that they may fly above the earth in the open firmament of the heaven. God created the whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl. No, I read that. 26. And God said, let us make man in our image. Yes, there we go. That's where we were. After our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the earth, and over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. Okay. Did it just say God made male and female? Verse 27, hang on to that. I'll show you something interesting.
Hi, Empowered. How are you?
And God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth.
How are you?
Now, why does it say replenish? Why didn't it say fill the earth?
Let me just get into the chat.
It means that it used to be full and it got empty. Right?
You're radiating me like mad today.
So replenish means to fill it again. Some people believe that this is saying that this is where the angels and the devil and all of that sort of stuff. In other words, there was something before God created man.
There's a lot going on today.
I don't know, I wasn't there. I'm just pointing out the interesting thing.
There's a lot going on today. Let me just pause this.
God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of the earth, and every tree in the fruit. In the fruit.
Bring Mason's up for. Okay, that's very late night and up late. How are you? Same as you. Same as you. Unfortunately, yeah. Subject says it all, doesn't it? Demons and snakes. They're all bloody snakes. This phone I'm using also is hacked. It shows it's up in Leicestershire. Every device I've got is hacked. Yeah, basically, my bloody brain. I was trying to watch. It's been a busy week. I was trying to get into the chat first and say. Hi, busy. I'll tell you in a minute how this happened. Busy week. Busy, and then the radiation. Oh, I come in time now. Right. You can hear, obviously. Right, so we've got weird bank holiday weekend. So, for example, Christmas period, there was an extra day, weren't there? So I didn't get paid. I made sure I didn't get paid my disability income until Monday last week, right? Yeah, no, beginning of this week, Monday just gone. So that's the first Monday of 2022, right? So that's a bit odd because normally a bank holiday, it says online, UK's so-called fake government meant to pay people the disability income, whatever you're on the 31st December, which was a Friday last year now. And it didn't happen. They did a bit delayed it. I had saved up anyway, just in case of all things. So it appeared in the account Monday. Right, Thursday's date, 6th of the 1st, 2022. my monthly other type of disability income to pay for my extra costs I've got. Well, it went in, but they made another error. They paid an extra certain amount I get paid weekly on top to create more financial difficulties, mess me about. So luckily I've saved that in a separate account for when these powers that be will imply, oh, we overpaid you and we need to deduct it out of your weekly income. No, you could have the lump sum back, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's just a set-up because on top, lovely Christmas present, not, these lies again by the demon Freemasons as implied. I did all my affidavits and paperwork back in March last year. So 8 months go by and I haven't heard nothing back because I rebutted every assumption about my private life. It's a civil matter. You don't drag out. This is how I know it's Freemason connected and demonic demons within the targeting program. So they dragged it all out again, and nobody gets back to me to my point-to-point 5-page document. Why I can't take 14 grand plus, because it affects anybody. It's effective compensation of criminal compensation payment, and you don't keep a civil matter open for 21 years. 21 years. So this massive MyLab I tried to do a stream, MAILBS military program. I found out I'm a part of. Oh my goodness, about these bloody demons. Let me just read your comment. Not being up to much, but was awake around. Yeah, exactly the same as me. Wow. Well, about an hour later yesterday, 7 a.m. they woke me up. So not surprising. Yeah, I've been having device hacking problems. Yep. Bloody hell, sorry to hear that. And yes, I woke to muscle spasms as they control. I just can't put it into words how identical that is to me. I'm sure I'm wiped out because of long-term dues. Yes, exactly. Yes, I'm targeted. They drag everything out without ever properly closing. Exactly. Do you have evidence of part of the military program? Yeah. Let me get the website.
In the which is the fruit of the tree yielding seed. You should be for me.
How I put the docs together. Top Block Radio. There's a guy I've saved. I have to go back and find. I tried to stream every time I was trying to stream that, and an evidence that and go into details. I was heavily under attack doing that, and so I couldn't carry on with it. The piercing and hacking with the sounds and frequencies was ramped up. I've had no break. I normally have the daytime at least lesson, but it's just like non-stop now. So what, I've got audio evidence as well. It's really sick. It's really is. I just can't put it into words because it's so demonic. Somehow they've got into my bedroom. Certain things are happening. I can't go into specifics, but it's like, what the effing is going on? Who the effing is in my room? I'm meant to be naturally asleep, but I'm not. I'm talking to somebody. It's not just like you're talking in your sleep. I'm actually having a proper conversation with two people, especially last night, during the night. So I've done the barricaded of my main door and the lock. I could. I had a friend over mine sleeping on the settee, a carer, because woken up to the threat to firebomb my flat. That was the perpetrator at number 7. Police informer. They paid for the police, right opposite me. And again, I just uploaded a video at 10:30, what they did just now. I'm not safe here. I'm not, no more am I safe. I'm not going anywhere. But if it happens to me, there's a documentation out there. Sadly, my old bloody son don't give a shite because they're mind controlling him in a different program. They're controlling him with the focusing on crypto, focusing on, because he's got a 5-year-old daughter and another son from his previous marriage. It's hereditary. My ex-military brother and my elder half-brother put me into this bloody program when I was just before I was 18 years of age, because I got out of this sick Freemason occult. I left it. I left the Mormon occult at a young age because I knew it was all controlled. And my late mum, she just brainwashed. She was brainwashed since she was a kid. And it goes hereditary. It goes back in so many centuries ago. And it goes very, very deep. That's why I keep the website streaming, to show people they can go and educate themselves. Ted Hudson, former CIA agent, and he had loads of victims of child ritual abuse. I witnessed a lot of stuff as a kid against my... Oh, God, have a drink. Against my brothers and sisters. I was only a young girl myself. And then I got trawling. I don't give a shit about trawls. Yeah, I woke up, muscle spasms. Yeah, when targeted, they drag everything out. Yep. Okay, thanks. Very late and up late. How are you? I'm busy week. I meant to say radiation. Been up too much, but was awake around 6 a.m. Not surprising. Yes, I've been having device hacking problems. Yes, I woke to muscle spasms and they control when yes, empowered. That is me all over, like you. I am sure I'm wiped out because of the long use. Yes, when targeted, they drag out without closing properly. Do you have a... Yes, I do. Long-term Jews have run virtually 24 hours a day. I normally have an hour in the morning, and I would say, okay, but it's more of a case not. Okay, just better than the rest of the time. Okay, just reading your comments. Yeah, my brother had access to a book on how to slander. Is it slander? With police, neighbours, and ruin someone's life when you were 7. He was 14. Bloody hell. He was into guns and went to Soldier of the Future events in the USA. Wow. Oh, I'm getting radiated right now. A Soldier of the Future. Yeah, that's it. Super Soldiers. So it's called Super Soldier Program. It's where you can get gang stalking technology and hire gang stalkers and hackers and private investigators. That is so sick, isn't it? So sick. I know you put me also on the list here since I moved here. I was set up with a serial killer in 2002. That's all up. I mean, I was very vocal and political years ago before I got attacked. No, that nasty serial killer, that man. And then, of course, everything stopped. My whole lifestyle changed, and my daughter moved 20, 30 miles away from me. My whole religious Mormon occult family turned her against me again. So I lost contact with my grandkids, 2 of them, by her kids, and still do. They're older now. And she's mind controlled. I mean, my elder half brother specialises in NLP all these years ago. He's been manipulating everybody in the bloody family for years anyway. He, sadly, my late mum, was relying on him for everything. She, when she was vulnerable herself with 5 kids on her own all those years ago, she was like drawn into the Mormons, and that's all I ever knew. And years later opened a can of worms and I find out that the 18th century, his Joseph Fielding Smith, his whole family were Freemasons, you know. And yet this is now is a corporation, a world extremely wealthy corporation, because all those people that become members pay 10% of the tithing. All things are true Christian churches, okay? And ex-members, whether they're whistleblowers or not, I'm just here, just always been living my own life ever since I got away from it. Well, I didn't get away from it. My own sick brother, still in the area, in this town, he's got contacts in political, religious area, very well connected people. That's what they do, they can network. So he made sure my life was being a bloody misery for so long. I made a life for myself. I didn't make it a misery. I made good points of my life at a young age. But he was behind, set me up ever since I can remember. So much has gone on. But now I know, it's a point being, that I'm not the only one. And I know this is worldwide. And he is a sad, sick, demonic. But the thing is, I witnessed a lot of stuff what he did to his own kids when I was young, when I first moved up the area here. So, of course, I had to be silenced. Well, you can't silence me. Nobody can. And I wouldn't go to the extreme of being a labellist. And I just know it's now, I know what I know. It's demonic. It's all planned. And it's not just this program. Everything else in this world, the way it is now, by, you know, this control matrix world we're in every area, is all run by the occultists, the bloodline families. And if you're not a part of their demonic programs, it's very sick, it's very dark, then you're a target you're seeing they want to get rid of the God gene. Genetically change the human DNA. They're already radiating, and it's target individuals, were the experiments. We've always been the first to be experimented on non-consensually by the technology and the medical side as well. Okay, and if you speak out about it and you have the documents that loads of people do all over the world, don't they? You get labelled with their system. So at the end of the day, this is what they're doing again to me, and they're just jump cards, jumping up fake, falsified, nil and void assumptions. You don't have a civil matter that's been dealt with back in March last year and reopened after 8 months out the blue. So I've got my work cut out again. Just how I respond to these puppets that sold their souls to their demonic masters with an agenda is a kill-off program. They're going to kill us off. And it's not just target individuals. Those that's got a genuine, true Christian nature, a genuine heart about them, and knows the true Joshua, Jesus, whatever how I know this is because today, or yesterday now, when I was out just doing my banking, I ended up this place, this casino, small place. My friend was having a coffee, 20 quid I put in, and I wasn't there long, and I felt the radiating my left side of my body in my wheelchair. I think you demons out there can radiate and use your technology on the left side of my neck, my head, left side of my body I can't use anyway. Then you went on the right side of my hand, my leg. I could feel when they were shooting their juice on my body through my clothes. Yeah, in a warm environment. And then I could tell where they were trying to mess about the 5G technology. If you don't already know this, in England's already ramped up. My eyes, right, and anyone can research effects of 5G radiation on your skin, your cells, your body. So I've had to invest a bit more in detoxing the body. So I'm putting minerals back in with super green powders and minerals, as well as I got a version for detoxing the body. Okay, so it's a bit expensive way of doing it, but that's all the bloody trying to do everything physically I can. Spiritually, this is how they mess about with your head, your mind. So they get you to. I don't do drink. I don't touch alcohol. Myself, it's by choice. But I'm into mental health. So there isn't any physical protection from radiation. Like I've got these materials. I've got this EMF, and I've got the meters, and I've got this, that, and the other. Nothing protects from these satellites, the advanced technology that radiate in the human body and the brain into us, experimenting us like we're lab rats. Oh my gosh. I'm no lab rat, I tell you. Yeah, they want to push us to the brink of suicide. Even when said I would commit suicide to my mother's when she was dying of Parkinson's. I'm sorry to hear that. She was really upset after he dropped off at the nursing home, which she is, when she told me let me just go back a bit. Soldier of the future, yeah. He even, just reread your comment empowered, PPUK. He even said I would commit suicide to my mother. Oh my goodness me, he already knew that. He assumed that. He made that assumption. That is sick. That is demonic sick. Yeah. You see I can't get the website up right now. Let me just, where's my phone? Oh, there it is. Educate yourself on that website, right? That's so sad. It's so pure evil. Demons, snakes. Have you heard Empowered your theory on the reptilian? You know, your ancient hidden knowledge. Because I reckon it's absolutely paramount that people investigate themselves, you know, if they want to, that is. Because you look, I've been watching a couple of sci-fis just to try and, it's very difficult to try and break away from all this when you're getting radiated 24 hours a day. So I try and have like heat pads. For example, it's now day and a half I've had my neck pulled so bad. Now, last time I had my head and my neck, I had a stroke, really bad stroke again, and I literally couldn't move. This time, luckily, I know about natural remedies, natural herbs and massage in the sense of reflexology. So I've got my mate to try and use heat pads, all these creams. I've got some more cream to put on my, if you get all the targeting on your feet, which they like to target my feet and my nails, only the right foot, mind you. So I've got this really good quality cream in a jar, and it's got some herbs. It's a specialised type one I got in a health shop. It's expensive, but it's worth it. And I put it where they radiate me, on areas on my elbow, my left elbow. How they do on my left elbow, God knows, and my right foot. But with the muscles, well, it's the nerves. They got into, this time, they've gone to town in my inner ears, not just the usual tinnitus. This has gone beyond a joke the past 2 days, and during the night as well. So when I researched, this is since I researched on my labs, the Super Soldier program, and I was reading the documents, the military documents, and it's been going for a long time. So when they implied that you're abducted by aliens, that theory, you know, or you have this, they wipe your memory, so you can't, you know, you're not remembering much. But when I've got this audio and I'm playing it in my conscious state back, and I know, you know, what I'm listening to, it's just, I can't put it into words. I really can't put it into words. It's just, it's like Mo Smith, who used to come in, I don't know what the time difference is in America at the moment. I only seem to get, you know, the internet's controlled, the traffic's controlled. So it doesn't matter if I had a landline or Wi-Fi, it's still controlled. Mobile data's controlled, the phone's controlled, everything. Sadly. But, so point being is, when I research, I mean, as I said, you're either used in the ritual abuses and underground dumps and the child ritual abuses and the sacrificing of kids. And then if these certain families only breed and have children so they can bring them into the cabal's ring of abuse or paedophilia, disgusting it is. And as they get abused, they're pulled into the demonic ritual cabal. Nothing new, it's been going on for years, for a long, long time. So, if you're not part of that, then you get, families will get set up. to take their kids off them. So those kids, depending what age, I suppose, who knows. But if they're younger, the better. So they get abused in the care system, allegedly. Okay? And then they get fostered out. And then what happens? Oh, they get involved. They train them up to do the ritual abuse with their foster families too. With their minds are wiped as well. It's just very well organised. So then eventually say they'll come 18 and they leave their system, they get the flat and they train them in to be a gang stalker, to be a police informer. This is really dark stuff, you know. And I've undercovered a lot of stuff, especially around here. And but in England generally. I've known a lot of stuff from years ago anyway. But I didn't know how far-fetched it would go. So when they got my brother into the military, he I don't know what he did, but he found out what really goes on to do with technology as well. Long time ago this is. So what I'm reading about the Milo labs, why do they use white fans? So there's always like, I mean, if you look at crystal healing, the advancement in Tesla technology, and not just mainstream like what we know as gas electric, but there's more technology out there than they let it on. So of course there are dimensions as well, if you don't know about different dimensions. And when I uncovered and read through some of the documents, it's something that you need to have a stomach for. Because when you're reading these documents, it's like, what? It really is like a sci-fi movie. But when I came across a movie in 1981, predicting everything that's happening now with all these subjects going on, not just targeting. And I thought, here we are. But this is worldwide, isn't it? People now are in that sense that don't realise about the targeting program, gang stalking, and yet now they're only realise a spiritual awakening within their souls. But they don't realise who's controlling it all. You know, it's not just the Rothschilds, the banking families. You know, it goes much deeper and darker. So this physical existence is not of the light. I call it light workers. It's not of light workers. You know, we don't belong here. Our spiritual souls belong elsewhere, and we have that guardian. So when my family experiencing genealogy, and that's what the Mormons do, they're famous for. So they've been using genealogy and tracing back to biblical years. So I got bored of all that years ago when I used to do it. So, but the rituals they do, it's just like they do in the Freemason temples that I was participating in. I got out of it all, as I said, because of all that and what I saw. So they don't want you to go. You don't leave. If you leave, then you're on the radar. So that's all my life's been about, is on the radar. And then suddenly realising in 2018, oh, this is a program, it's called. There is this technology about. The mind control technology has been around for a long time, before I was born. And now they're trying to radiate my body, so I have to be careful here. Because they home invasion and poison my food. Bear with me. Oh. Coming. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Just having a sausage. Hacking my. Right. What does it sound like? Testing the sound. Yeah, can you hear me? I bet you can't see me because it just hacked into me again. Yeah. Um, how can I put it in that website? Um, no. Go and look at this channel, right? And go and look at his playlist, Mo Smith, right? He doesn't come into my chat. Then make sure hardly anybody comes in. And be careful, because sometimes you can be talking to an AI computer. I've heard about that too. Yeah. No. If you get kids and keep them in cages, underground dumps, and this is worldwide anyway, and then the Luciferian agenda and the bigger picture, they want to, I'm used to soya meat anyway, but they want to get rid of meat, changing the food supply chain. This is not just about the dark side of what they do to kids. It's adults, it's all ages. I believe the bloodline. Also, I understand we have royalty. I do in the family, and we have a diplomat in the family. That would make sense. At the same time, as the CIA creator, is that Alan Dunn's Dills, Dullis, who signed up. Oh my God! I'm sorry to hear that. Well, I'm not surprised. This is where we are strong, you see. We are empowered. I totally don't like it, don't. Because we don't fall for the individuals like us. We don't fall for the darkness. So, that perp opposite me, he stayed to shopping trip at Tesco the other day. And I said, oh, Graham, no worries, I'll look into that. Let me have a look now, while I'm on the subject. I do Wikipedia search. Let's see. You need to find out things. Oh, wow. Let's have a look. Alan Welsh Stiles was the first civil servant director of CIA. A longest serving director, Wikipedia. So, during the Cold War, he oversaw the 1953 Iranian coup. Okay, let's have a look at Wikipedia. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness, that's still going, is it now? The Lockerhead U-2 aircraft program, the NK Ultra Mind Control. Excuse me. And the Bay of Pigs. My gosh. He was fired. Good on him. John F. Kennedy over the last fiasco. Let's have a look at the invasion of the pigs. The Spanish Inquisition. Was a failed landing operation on the southern coast of Cuba, 1961, by Cuban exiles who opposed excuse me. Covertly financed, directed by US government, the operation took place at the height of the Cold War, and its failure led to major shifts in international relations between Cuba, the United States, and the Soviet Union. April the 20th, 1961. The Lockerhead U-2 aircraft program, the NK Ultra Mind Control, and the Bay of Pigs invasion, he was fired. Yeah, I was just looking at that. It's fascinating. Wow, you've got DNA connections. You definitely were put in the program as a child. Especially all those years ago. Let's have a look at his family life. That usually has an article about it. Let's have a look. Oh, look, it goes. Who was in the office at the time? Harry S. Truman. Personal details. Oh, he was born in New York, 1893. So he was born 1893, Watertown, New York. And he died 1969, 75 years of age. And spouses, it says education. Oh, no wonder. He went to Princeton University. He was one of the members of the Warren Commission. Oh, no wonder. It's a cover-up. So he was involved in the commission assassination of Kennedy. Between his stints at the government service, he was also a corporate lawyer at the Sullivan and Cromwell. His older brother, John Foster Dulles, was a Secretary of State. Oh, no wonder, look, during the Eisenhower administration. Early family life, let's have a look. Okay, so let's have a look. He was one of 5 children. Ah, look. Minister Alan Mackey Giles, his wife Edith Foster. He was 5 years younger than his brother, John Foster Dulles, D. White D. Eisenhower, Secretary of State. and chairman of senior partner, as I said, the law firm, and 2 years older than his sister. His maternal grandfather, John W. Foster, was Secretary of State under Benjamin Harrison, when his uncle by marriage, Robert Lindsay, he started a diplomat, AAK USA spy, where he had a family member who was a UK diplomat in the Second World War at the same time. Wow. As Allen was operating the USA. The UK and USA have... Wow. That's fascinating. Bloody hell, no wonder. Bloody hell. I've heard of that. Woodrow Wilson, Dulles was uncle to Avery Dulles, a Jewett. Oh my God, no wonder you're in this program. The Jewett priest and cardinal of the Catholic Church, who taught theologically on Fordham University, 1988 to 2008, and graduate Princeton University. Participated in the American. Oh my God. Entered the diplomatic service 1916. In 1920, he married Clover Todd. They had 3 kids, daughters Clover D. Jepson (Toadie), Joan I can't pronounce that. More. Oh my God, I've got a family member with his surname as a Molden, Joan Birch. That sounds German. And a son, Alan Mercy Jules Jr., 1923 to the year 2020. He was wounded and permanently disabled in the Korean War and spent the rest of his life and in and out of the medical centre, according to his sister. Always work together, the UK. Yep, that's true. That is true. With the MK Ultra torture and the RAA in the 70s, yes. That's true. In other words, they worked on mind control torture together. Exactly. Dr. Ewan Cameron, who ran MK Ultra, is in the Canadian hospital, was Scottish. Well, there's a connection there, isn't it? Well, what a researcher you are. What spot on that is. Well done. Just trying to get my diary together. Keeping my notes, all the BS that's going on. Oh. It's like when I watch that other channel, TI News. Some of it's alright, some of it's not. I think they get some really genuine people on that channel. Have you been watching it? The guys from California, well, living there apparently. And I don't bash nobody. And I don't know the woman in England who she's called. I mean, I can't find a channel. I'm too tired of my own stuff going on. But anyway, apparently, and on to the subject here. I think it's that day tomorrow. Be bloody. I didn't wake up till about. What time did I wake up? 2 a.m. No, 2. So I'm getting dizzy. The radiator in my head. I've got to get a cold drink again. I keep drinking water. Hold on a minute. I don't know, really. I don't know. But they mean well. Scott's isn't. I don't know how they're staying married, but that's their business. Scott, the guy in America, he never shows. This is what I'm unconscious of. Sometimes, you know, people can say anything, can't they? Without, like, I've uploaded evidence of videos that's happened to me today. Well, not just today, but all the bloody time when it happens, sadly. But with Scott, unfortunately, being a researcher, I find things out about people. Bobby, she's in Canada. She doesn't evidence anything about the real shite that's going on. And she has all this happening to her, but I found out certain things about her personally, which I won't make public here. And everyone that used to pop in my channel as moderators for over 6 months during the last year, 6 months, was disappeared. She dragged them off. How? There's a woman that's based over in California in America, that's on Twitter, trawling for all those that claim to be target individuals and doing research on them, digging up information about them, and passing the information over to Bobby in Canada to get a global picture of all these individuals claiming they're targeted. Did they realise their data is being abused that way? Nope. So I started watching people's posts on Twitter, and they were sucking up this woman called Bobby. She's got a certain channel, claiming she's an expert in technology. No, there's better people out there. Generation in Israel. Sadly, he got sucked into the program. There's quite a few of them. So he set up a WhatsApp group. He also set up a Telegram application group. So everyone that's been trolled and used their data said, oh, here's this new group on Telegram app. So they've all been going there. Then not that long ago, a guy appears in California. Sets up a new channel, doesn't he? Called TI News. Never gets hacked like I do. Never. You tell me what individual who's going through all this doesn't get compromised. Never shows genuine evidence of this program. And claims, oh, it's just a channel for him and Scott. Don't know where Scott lives, but they seem to know each other, and he got really defensive when I questioned in the chat. So how do you know each other then? Because the first time it seemed genuine when I joined the chat, but I soon did some digging and I found all this evidence out. So I briefly did a video. I wasn't going to libel nobody, but I know exactly how they're all connected. Or my opinion, do what you want. Anybody do what they want. Just be aware of the false deception of, and each to their own. If these moderators, people that used to come on my channel, want to go where else. But I know they're messing about every connection I've got. Tanya in Australia. I never see your comments and anything, and only when she posts a comment on a uploaded video. Never do I see her comments in my chat if I'm live. She will go in these other chats I know about, and you got some really good people out there that do their best as well. And I see her comment only, I see it if somebody highlights it, the host of that channel or that stream. That's the only time I know she's about. And that she sees my comment and somebody highlights it, they're blocking me seeing her comments, because she would email me from Australia and share links and things. So I'd emailed her and I'd say, do you realise that you're being blocked for me to... Are you getting my notifications? Are you aware that I can't see your comments if you are in a chat? I can't see none of you. So this is also the use of the technology AI. Not just her though. So yeah, just a heads up, just be careful. Because when you put out a link, like I used to use StreamYard, people who do different, like I've seen Nappy Head Roots, I think it's called something else now, and he's a genuine American TI, living out of his car vehicle, really struggling, and Mo put me in touch with him a long time ago. Mo Smith has always been 100% genuine, 100%. He's been nothing but helpful and stable. You know, you could tell the pattern of stabilisation, of support and help, and the emails and links and things, and on a spiritual nature too, because it is a spiritual war on our souls, on humanity, what's going on this earth. So and yet, all the TR news, do I hear anything like that? Oop. People might comment in there on, say, spiritual war, whatever, but the one from last night or this morning, whatever time difference it is, the lady from England, my gosh, I can't remember her channel either, unfortunately. She was showing, I don't know how she could afford those cameras and how she set them all up in her windows, her home at night, because this is where I would love to be able to get all this set up, get my flat rigged by the hidden cameras everywhere, you know, and capture the night cameras as well, infrared, and have it as like you don't need to be wired up or linked to the internet. You get your SD cards, you know. I don't know how she did it, because I need to go and research a video, see if there is something I can comment on, and see where in England she is, to see whether or not she's got tips about what type of camera she uses and with a low cost or whatever in my price range, because it is going to be handy. It's evidence based, isn't it? It's gathering up evidence. But the advancement of technology now, no, Tanya seems to be very genuine in Australia, definitely. It's a shame though. She disabled herself. She doesn't know much about technology. As far as I think she's going through a hell of a lot. This is where she used to come in my streams a lot, because it was like a supportive measure. And I think powers that be realised that, so they blocked her, you know. She'll come in the chats, and she might even be in this chat, but I wouldn't know nothing about it, because I don't see no comments. And then she will think, oh God, you know, she don't like me or whatever, you know. This is what they play off. People, be careful about, well, people might know this. They play each other off against each other. And that's what I don't do. It's no point. You've got enough to cope with. But the perps are the ones that do all that, don't they? But no, there's no need for any inviting, because we're all going for different things. And it's up to individuals what they want to do, you know. Sadly, that you got people out there that want to pose as the only one main kind of channel to take over. I mean, there's so many people worldwide going through this. Everyone's doing their own little thing. There isn't no such thing as a community as such. We're just sharing our information, and anything that helps is better than nothing, isn't it? So it's just the nature of misinformation. So that guy running the channel, TI News, it doesn't come across genuine at all. And especially if you're struggling with finance as well. He does random stream video of buying and stuff on New Year's Eve, one video of his. And the way he spoke and his body language, the way he was using his trolley, and the way certain things, I can't mention specifics right now, but it was just, I just confirmed a lot of things. And there's another genuine man called Wayne. I think he's changed his name with his channel now, but he does. I need to learn about how to play, it's a cheap, I don't have a TV, so never have for many years, but he does one. I don't know how he does it, but it's different in Australia, and he might have been able to financially be independent of the system. And I think somebody must have died in his family. He's left him his house or something. And he's got his 2 beautiful birds, lovely birds, and he does his chats. But at the moment, he's focusing on gaming. So I don't know. I mean, I'm watching his chats, and he talks about certain subjects of this nature. Not as much, but also about the gaming. Which, the way he does it, I'm not sure how that works. I've seen mainstream channels of gaming channels and streaming, and bloody hell, that's a full-time job for them. And I thought, each to their own, but no, Wayne Morris, and he's changed his bio and he explains what I think he gets a V2K, and I think he did some really good streams, just people coming in and chatting and watching him playing the computer games, and that was something different. So it was refreshing. You could talk about these subjects, but also watching him play a computer game, which was really fascinating. The way he's just so down to earth about it. There's not much evidence of like the organised stalking, street threat and things like that. Not as much as that. So, but there's other people I've been watching, observing, who are meant to be genuine, because there's so much fake disinfo. And the point being is, don't focus on all whether it's fake or real, because that's just a part of the distraction, isn't it? To get the Conquer and Divide program. We've got enough to cope with as it is in the world, let alone, be bothered whether people are fake or not fake. Just be careful what information you put out if you're doing your streams. So it seems like they're deliberately blocking me and Tanya from talking to each other. Yeah, that's right. Absolutely empowered. Yeah, you and me were on Wayne's PlayStation chat. Yeah, the other day. I said hello to you in the chat. Yeah. Yeah, I don't get the game, so it looks really good. The graphics, the technology in the game, and a good way to distract yourself if you go for all this BS, like watching really old movies. At the moment, I've been watching 30 movies, black and white ones. My late mum used to watch them years ago, and it was just a distraction because it just can't be done with the paperwork at the moment I need to do, because of my shoulder and my neck and everything's really not great. So I'm just going to have a couple of biscuits, hot cup of tea, watch a movie, and I don't think I'll get sleep till late again. and then sleeping, you know, because I'm sure they put a 5G, well, I don't know if it's a 5G version, but the smart meter, the housing company, is right in the parallel to my bedroom wall. So the radiation is really sort of like strong, and on top of everything else. And then, God knows, I'm looking at, someone did a post on Twitter of smaller devices people can use, simple devices to penetrate into your homes and that. And I was looking at, you know, apps, and there's a woman in England, what's she called? I've forgotten what she's called now, but she's twitting away a post, and she mentions a couple of apps, but they keep hacking my bloody, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4 phones. The other ones now, I can't charge it up. Charge port, something's wrong with it. Doesn't matter what new charger I use, it can't be charged up, and I can't delete the data off it. It's just like, no matter what I use. So my brand new one I've got, within 6 months old, they've hacked it completely. Yeah, so to get into the back door, it doesn't matter what software protection you have, you can still get into your devices. But anyway, these are just physical items, because the future technology is Neuralink, isn't it? This is very demonic. So I can see a civil war happening very shortly. Watch out for the month of February onwards. Watch out, especially, I mean, I don't give a shite anymore, I'm going to say it as it is, because I've got nothing to lose anymore. They're coming after me to shut me up, and they're trying to force inject me and force entry on lies and perceptions and assumptions, and I've done my documents to dismiss everything, because all being set me up for long as a survivor of this horrible crime. And they deliberately didn't repair my flat before this to make out I can't look after myself, which is BS. They're the ones that breach a contract. I know all this law and all this stuff I've learnt for so long, and they just want to get rid of people like me. If you don't go along with the beast system, if you know what I mean by that, then you're going to be, you know what. So I just watched somebody's short upload. One was a prophecy club I was playing in the background. And that gentleman that passed in America, it's just worked it out. I was shocked, because it's like, he sticks to one subject, really, just on the biblical history and events of what's going on now. And then he starts talking about subjects I've known for a long, long time. And I've had to know certain things. And I thought, you're talking about that? My God, no. And then what I see, right, with my naked eyes, my own eyes, it's just like, if I stuck to one subject on Planet X, for example, I'll get loads of views, but I'm not here for that. That it's not Planet X, it's absolute comets. There's loads of comets being GCI cover-up in the live weather cams as well. And when I share the Against the Grain, it's a guy in Croatia in Europe who has a telescope. It's got a mountain house. He's very good breaking down the images in his mathematical model on his computer. And the comets in Scotland, excuse me, got woken up too early, and I'm seeing this. I'm seeing these things with my own eyes. I'm looking at other webcams, and then I'm seeing it with my own naked eye. And I'm seeing it on sunset period time in England. I know, and other people worldwide are. And one video, I've never on this channel ever had 400 views on one video, ever. I'm not that type of channel. And this was just purely reflections of the white sun sun and of the water, what I just observed. And but he, Seven, bless his heart, is a gardener in his trade in America, and he talks, I mean, solely on frequencies, on this weather phenomena, subject. But it doesn't. I know he's a target individual, and he doesn't know it, but he's a spiritual man, because he's asked, he's cast out by his sister, and he tries his best with his mum, and he's got a dad in the care home, and he's got a son, so he's doing his best in the way he's living. But he's got a really amazing channel, Spawning 7. There's 7 Spawning, I think. Anyway, I think I might say a couple of videos. I'll have to relook at this channel, because I've got a strike on the other one, and I've got a strike on this one. No, 2 strikes on the other one. 1 more strike and it's gone. I'm looking at really setting up a new channel up to put my face on it. I want to put a title on it, something about my life, and I've got nothing to lose by doing that anymore. So, warts and all, now I ain't got no warts. I thought, look, if they're going to get rid of me, and they're going to do the BS, and they're going to do certain things which I am trying lawfully and hold them accountable, then I'm going to start lifting the lid on a lot of people. But I have to do it in a way that I don't use, they're going to use the content, but I'm going to make sure that I don't label anybody, but hint where you can go and find the truth. And show you some documents. And put myself on camera, although my teeth are radiated. I don't wear makeup anymore. My hair's still long, but my hair's getting radiated. My hair is like straw. And if I put myself on camera, will they stop hijacking my streams? I say, well, this is me, warts and all. Because I got nothing to lose. These public servants in England know exactly who I am. And so what? I thought, I'm a survivor of a serial killer. That's a good heading, isn't it? And then, because people have been making videos about that particular individual, which is not true. They're just copying the mainstream media. It's not true what they've got out. I'm the only survivor. Okay? So I thought, if I put out videos about the truth, not too many details what happened to me, but about him and what really went on. And then this is my life now. Then there's a background, isn't there? And then there's shows how, if anything happens to me, well, that's the truth. Yeah? Oh, why don't you... I just had an idea doing it that way. But not just on YouTube, though. There's different social media platforms. And I've already got 2 channels set up on WhatsApp. Not WhatsApp, what do you call it? Telegram. NK Ultra. NK Ultra is the biggest subject, I think, because that covers the spectrum, doesn't it? So it seems like they are deliberately blocking, yeah. Yeah, you and me were on Wayne, yeah. Yeah, I deliberately thinking about getting the PlayStation, but if I had energy for that, I could just, oh wow, I used to do that, Interesting you say that. I used to be a designer on the internet when the old dial-up internet was about. When I got my first computer, I was very good at designing websites and graphics. I used to run a few businesses all those years ago. So I lost all those skills when things happened to me. So that would be a good idea, though, for you to get some work in that regard. However, they do mess, yeah, that's a problem, isn't it? They do mess with your computer. I would probably screw my PlayStation games. This is it. What's it worth it? Is it worth it? Yeah, I can't pronounce that name. Kaz something. Communication companies. Oh my gosh, in the country already. I heard they're going to do that. I knew the unrest was going on. Oh, I've got to listen to this. They broke my sound up now. Companies have turned the internet off in the middle of a national... Oh my god. Oh my gosh, I've got to highlight that. It's military law now, isn't it? The middle of a national emergency. Clearly not for safety. Yes. But to block the truth getting out. Is it on the border? I was trying to look at the geography, location of the country. Now, is it they're peed off because first was about energy prices rises? Or was it they were through their government, the public, the people, and they set fire to some buildings or something? And then there was injuries both sides, of the public and the police. So the military stepped in. So they've decided national emergency and calling it martial law. Is that right? And is it connection? Is there a Russia connection? Is there the Russians are, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just guessing here. Is Russia concerned over the issue to do with Ukraine? And they're concerned if Ukraine joins the UN. Is it UN? Or some other... I mean, UK is always behind these things. Banking families always behind creating the illusion. All these militaries are being seen flying over to the country. They call it collective system peacekeeping. There's always something else going on behind the scenes, isn't there? Well, what coding and design programs did you use? I was learning. I'm not expert in the mathematical side. Mine was to do with designing websites, so a bit of coding, I suppose. How to use a keyboard the old-fashioned way. I wish I still had my old computer rather than the smart devices, because that really was just you knew where the keys were, and it was just so easy to use. And I had my computer desk all set up. I had a mini desk in the lounge and a big office in my spare room all set up. The dial-up internet. I had a business friend. He would travel around the world on business, and he was very good at designing, and he helped me up. I was learning. I even learned how to I used to do modelling, photographic modelling. So he took my photos for me. He's a really, really smart gentleman. He was a very loyal friend, and that's what I know about certain people. Very extremely wealthy people and their families, because the people he used to mix with. Sadly, his family didn't want him to marry outside the family, bloodline, so we didn't get married. We just stayed friends and parties. This is kind of lifestyle where you go to Vienna, all the parties, You go to sailing clubs. You go to skiing, the Alps. You go to all these exotic places, and because he's always very, very good salesman and business skills, and He had a heart of gold. Yeah, Richard, his name was. Still got pictures of him and me together. And has some lovely photos taken by the horses, my photography photos he took of me. And lovely, we had lovely times out by the lake, picnics and things. So he's a really sweetheart. But sadly, he had all the hangers on because they just wanted him for his money. And I wasn't like that at all. Wasn't raised that way. And that's how we got on. And one girl, one party, just certain things happened. He didn't get intimate with her. She just used something of his, not saying too much. And she used that throwaway stuff and inserted herself with certain thing, and she got herself pregnant with his kid that way. He confided in me, all, and he's got a kid by her because that's what she did. She wanted to trap him. He's got nothing to do with her. It's a long time ago. Don't know how old his daughter is. He's always wanted a child. But he took his responsibilities on, so that child's going to be extremely wealthy. And well, there's always been a connection with that trollop. And that's trollop, the computer side. He taught me on the skills of designing the websites to start with. Now, the other friend I had was an accountant, and he taught me in the business side how to do spreadsheets, things like that, Office, software, and how to upload spreadsheets and things. So it was learning how to use certain software, really. Now, a couple I knew, business-wise, they were teaching me how the computer works, the old Windows, Windows 2000, I think it was, long time ago. And so the husband was good at the advancement. I did some courses on green screen version, which I know it now to be, and I did some courses on software designing, and that was like a 3D version. I didn't even know what the hell that was, but now I know what it is, obviously. But at the time, I think the courses didn't last that long, but it was good enough what I learned how to set up some software of my own to use on my websites. I had loads of blogs. Well, I had about 5 blogs glowing, political blogs, modelling blogs. Well, I didn't think there was such thing as streaming per se at the time. It was just blogs, dial-up internet. It was basically research, really, and designing websites. Yeah, so and not so much coding. So something I would have loved to learn, because that's what is very much more. Be very handy to know about the coding, because you can find out who the hell is using the black market hacking our devices, isn't it? Hello, Patty. How are you? Nice for you to pop in. Catching up on things. Yeah, hello. Talk about computers and coding. How's your day been? Doing okay. About you? I'm tired. I'm going to have another drink. And did art and design beforehand. Did you, Empowered? Wow. Nice. I love design. Work also. Did a lot of web and application design in my computer science. Well, computer science is something my son has always been interested in. And now he's set up a company. He's doing unfortunately, there's a lot of things he's into. He's following Musk, people like that, neuroscience, physics. He's always been interested in that. What about you, Pat? Just looking around, catching up on things. Okay, sleep most of the day. Wow, not you and all. Bloody hell. Yes, I had that. Oh, Pat, my God, I had that. Oh, I don't know how anybody copes. So, do you get the I take it you targeted yourself. Do you get the I assume, yeah, no, because I've got the audio, as I said to one on this chat. I've got the audio evidence of the bloody. I was just saying earlier to Empowered. I'm getting the bloody the technology. I know about the minor labs, the military, the advanced technology hacking into our bloody brains, and it's like I'm talking to like two bloody people. It's not even talking in your sleep, but people assume. And when you undig and you find all this evidence, it's just demonic. Yeah, I had the little one asleep, wiped out as usual. Sleep at 6 a.m. I woke late, so out of sync at the moment. Sorry to hear that. That's why I'm still awake. Because I got in, and I know 9ish, 9:30, just put my stuff away, and then had my pot noodle. Can't be bothered to have anything cooked. Pot noodle. Then was lovely. I finished off my apple and had my tonic water because the radiation really affects my glands, and the radiating my bloody throat and glands in my head as I speak. So guzzle down the water during the whole night. I don't know how much water I drink. I'm waking up periodically. I'm drinking water and I'm being put back to sleep again. Does anybody get that? You suddenly woke up, you're meant to be sleeping, and then you're constantly thirsty, so you're like drinking water, and then suddenly you find yourself back. I recorded all this in an audio, and I need an external speaker that I can actually ramp up the evidence and make a really good video of it, because you wouldn't believe it. I tell you, you wouldn't believe it. So yeah. Yes, yeah. So if I got one, I could show you. Hold on. Right. This is a one pat, right? Don't you can see that. Try and get my camera close. It's got an ingredient in it that helps with this radiation, and it really helps. I've got to get the ingredients. Got to see it. Here you go. Where my finger is. Just there. If you look for that ingredient, just there. This is all natural. Cost me £4 for about 12 of these. That Q, that word there, that really helps with the effects of the radiation. So whether it's from 5G or whatever, right? I get that version, that make. That's the only one that I found. It's a bit expensive, but it works. And it's not that big. Yes, I drink lots and go to the loo. Yeah! So I've got to drink it now. Non-alcoholic. It's a bit fuzzy. But it helps with absorption of this, helps the cells to stop this bloody help with the radiation and the frequencies it's bombarding. Pa says, yes, I drink lots and go to the toilet a lot to get rid of what I just drank. Yeah, Jews confuse your body's immune system. This is it, immune system is being attacked. I've got herbal teas, specifically herbs mixed into the herbal tea bags. They're expensive. A mix of different type of herbal teas for different things. Like one's for sleeping. Not that matters because I don't bloody sleep at the moment properly. One to calm the body, you get stress levels, NK Ultra triggers. This calmer tea, it's like a calm herbal tea. It's meant to really get, when you drink it, you're getting the fluid. There's also the herbs that's getting into your cells. It's meant to keep you calm. So I'll try that, and I'll try other things to keep me calm. Because it's not that easy, is it? The Jews confuse your body's immune system. Your body try to flush itself via increased thirst. Yes. Yeah. I would have to try some of that tonic. What's it got in it? Is it just... No. Did you see it? Queen something. I can't pronounce it. Probably Air Force, but... Can you see the name of it? Ingredient. My camera might be out of focus. Yeah, I can get it in focus again. Right, let me just show the make. Fever Tree. This is the only best one that's got any pure natural ingredients in it. You can't see it. Yeah, I thought so. They're going to blur it out. But I can't show the ingredients. Crucial ingredients. That's my camera. See the block? There it is. Where my thumb is. So to keep it in focus. There it is. It's hard to see because they're blurring the camera. I can't pronounce that word. Quintoine or something. So that's what that is. It's not that big, but it really is like I'll go through 3-4 of these a day with water, natural Evan, and it's got a type of water in it, bottled water, that flushes your gut out, the system out of the toxins. And here's another tip for you. Right. It's alright for blokes and women to use this type. So they're blurring my camera. You can see that cream. Yes, that's the one. That's the one. Spell it. Yeah. Hold on, that's a good question. Good point. Good point. You type it in. Let me go back in the chat. Let's just type it in. Just me. It's right. I can't see it now. Okay, the spelling of the word. Bear with me. Okay, let me type right. I'm gonna Q-U. Q-U-I-N. I can't even see it now. I-N-I-N-E. I think it's pronounced as that, the ingredients. I can't see it because my eyesight is blurry. Q-U-I-N-I-N-I-N-E. Something like that. Yeah. And if you get radiated on your skin, alright, that is quite compressed. And that is like a barrier type cream. Okay. That's good at herbal tea, but don't use this in herbal tea, it's for your skin. Lavender and that on your toenails so they radiate your feet and stop any fungi. And if you've got broken skin, your elbows, or wherever the target, that you don't need much of that on your feet, and it really helps heal the body. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one. Empowered. And there's another tip. Okay, the lavender, right, I mix with the aloe vera. It's empty at the moment because I've only just got the, that's the point. Aloe vera gel. Right. And then, let's get this done in a minute. Right. You might not like the smell being a bloke, but women might be able to cope with it. Pure. This is natural. I need a barrier oil. But I mix it with aloe vera gel in a jar. And that's a lavender, pure lavender oil. And I've got quite a few of these. Coconut oil, yes. Put it on your elbows. Yeah, that's what I do. But I mix my one with the lavender drops and the aloe vera gel for my skin anyway. Coconut is good. Oil based. And if you want to use carrier oil, you can use tea tree as an antibacterial. But if you've got broken skin, yeah, definitely coconut oil, mix it as a barrier oil. You don't need much, do you? Organic if you can get it, because I use that for cooking. Well, I don't cook, but I use that anyway. And then you could use it if you've got infection in your mouth, your teeth, radiate my teeth. You can use it to oil pull. I haven't been doing it every day, but I just bought some aloe vera organic mouthwash. So it's meant to get rid of that, you know, the radiation with the immune system. You're low, so they get into your throat and you get ulcers and stuff. So that doesn't really sting. So you're getting rid of bacteria. But when they radiate your stomach, it's just like, I'm not that large in body weight, but a woman's point of view, they radiate my stomach. And I'm bloody like really pregnant, but I'm not. And they make it swell. So I have to use stuff to detox when I'm awake and to because I can't walk, so obviously with a wheelchair I do what I can when I'm awake. But it's like if you're just cold now at the moment, isn't it? So you're in one room, for example, they want to radiate you, but you can't EMF proof your blinking whole building in Faraday cages and all this lark and the lead paint. Who's got all that cost, you know? And when you're being radiated in a block of flats, you know, bubbling around you at the same time with the perps and the technology they've got, it's like, if you can do little things that's cheap enough for your own physical inner body, and then the outer skin, obviously, that's one way to go. And then I find the breathing. Oh, I've got earplugs. God bless the earplugs, eh? I have to be careful, so I have to turn the main electrics off. Shortly I'll be doing that. Main electrics off, and then I have to be careful with my mobile data. I only have one device that's got a certain amount of mobile data, so I can actually play some scriptures, music, motivation, soft, healing type music that gets into the subconscious of the brain, and it's affirmations. And so it's like, for me, it's like a soothing a way to just try and switch off. Otherwise I have to watch like old-fashioned movie on likes of Amazon and things like that, but I end up falling asleep watching it. But I've got the earplugs plugged in, and I've got my other phone with the audio playing, so that's why I pick up on what's going on during my sleep. So yeah. You used, yeah, I've heard that pine needles tea. So you use pine Saleve, Saleve. Wow, that's helpful. Guys, I have to go back. I have to go back later if I can. Okay. I'll just keep this scripture thing playing in the background while I'll get freshened up in a minute. Take care. Thanks for popping in. Can clean your teeth, nails and hair with coconut? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Empowered. Alright, take care. P-A-I. So I pronounced it right. Yeah, it helps. So, just, what's the time? Yeah. Powers up beyond monitoring. Yeah, I'm going to head off as well, pal. Thanks for the good advice. Yeah, I'm just going to listen to it in the background now and watch other people, you know, see what's going on. So I'll just keep this open and just play what I was playing earlier. Okay, empowered, my dear. Do take care of yourself, you know. Oh, yeah, just a head up. If you don't know, I have this app already. Blue Raven has got some interesting information on here. Okay, Blue Raven on gap.com. Blue Raven. I can't quote what it's got on it, but the TI is helpful. Okay, take care. I've got to type. Okay. Just say what. There you go. Alright. Anybody else? Let me just see who is talking about whatever. Do, 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 do. Radiating my stomach at the same time. I am being watched. Your channel has gotten 6,957 views so far. Okay. Now here's monitoring what I'm doing then. Our top videos are demons or snakes. Reptilians they are. Undercover police. Which they are. Yeah. I'm just looking at my thing. So who have I reached? Let's have a look at the engagement. So end of July, a peak, and then a hike in January this year. Let's have a look at the audience. New viewers. Interesting. New viewers discovered your channel for the first time on a selected period. Returning viewers. Alright. New viewers 28 who discovered your channel for the first time. Interesting. What age bracket? Subscribed is the highest. Let's see the local areas. Let's have a look. What locations? Oh, Freemasons, you Demoms. Hold on, let's get these graphics up. United Kingdom, 19%. Come on, keep steady. Can't see it. So got United States, 11%. United Kingdom, I ain't being monitored. How's that be? What age group? Okay, so there's 70% male. What age groups? The average is 45 to 56. Why? Oh my god. Oh, I misspelled that. So I'm getting viewers. Okay, whatever. I don't give a shit anymore. Oh, he's back on. Brilliant.
Damage that can be done, organs to the mind. You go into another residence, then you start dealing with a dark matter of opening up those veils. And so it's very, very crucial for you to understand that any device out there that you think you're going to buy, you need to think about it twice, because after I'm done talking about this, I think you understand. Now, before I go any further, the Wednesday show, I don't know why the first 55 minutes, not that you missed anything, but for some reason it engaged. So you need to go about 55 minutes in for the show. So I'm going to make sure that whatever I do here with this software, it's not going to do that again. Still a little learning curve. It's a bit of so I wanted to mention too, I was talking about Julia Thompson and the show, and the examples as to why may be infected, why we may have curses. I was certainly, if there was any thought that I was implying that she was in error, please understand I did not mean that at all. She has walked the straight and narrow, and she is victimized. She is truly a TI. So if you got that, I apologize. I did not mean that at all. There are, if anyone would have a problem, would be me per my behavior years ago. I was quite the stinker. And with that in hand, I'm surprised I don't have a third arm growing out of my head the way I used to act. But as we learn and we go to the woodshed and we're disciplined and we're consecrated, we get rid of the old man. And so I want to make the statement that Julie has done a very good job in walking with the Lord, and I certainly did not mean anything if that's the way it was taken. All right? All right, with that, again, I want to thank everyone for supporting this ministry. Now, I call it a ministry, but in reality, I'm just simply trying to do what I can because I don't follow the mainstream church. I don't connect with them at all. I've tried. That's why I call it network. Well, that didn't work so over the years. So how about we take a second look at the so-called church, and let's take a look as to why they are not doing what has been called to do per Matthew 28, Great Commission. So for those who do support me, thank you, because there's a lot of people now who are set free. Now, I got sick here last week and still trying to recover a little bit. Still not 100%. I tried to do some calls yesterday, got some calls, didn't connect with everyone. I'll pick up where I left off on Saturday. And so if you haven't heard from me, I'll call you again, or if you saw that I called and you couldn't answer, we'll try it again. But either ways, I'll do what I can to help you out. So I'm getting stronger, getting ready to move forward with full strength. And again, for those who support me, this enables me to be able to pray for people. Now, I have mentioned that because of the quantity of people, that I need to be a little more stringent to make sure the quality of the people that I'm dealing with, because there are those who really do not wish to recover. And what I mean is that they're tormented under circumstances. They really just want to get up and running again so they can continue as business as usual. I'm not in the business of that. There needs to be a change in your heart. There needs to be a change in your spirit. There needs to be a transformation from who you were to who God intended you to be. And that's what I'm trying to do, is get you into that mode. So if you think I'm just here to fix you so you can go back to being a bad boy or crazy girl, it's not going to happen. Unfortunately, that has been some of the cases over the years. And so I need to focus a little stronger with the time at hand, because time is short. My time is I can't do this 24 hours a day like I used to. And so I need to be a little more direct on that. Now, also mentioning, too, that on January 30th for David Carrero, that the FOJC radio I've been asked to be on. And so I'm looking forward to that. Main subjects of psychotronics, gang stalking, TIs, and the demonic relation. And I think that'll be a very good show. He seems to be on the up and up, and just the time that I've talked to him, I believe he's got a heart of God. And so I'm looking forward to this. It's good to be in fellowship with those who are in agreement, especially anyone who deals with satanic ritual abuse. That's a major, major hard subject. Of course, I deal with it. I don't know if I do in the quantities he does. You can't help but deal with it whenever you're doing deliverance, because there's just so many out there. But anyone who's willing to tackle that, as far as I'm concerned, is a good man. So I'm glad that'll be on there. All right. King David, before being a servant of King Saul, was playing harps and doing all kinds of things that show to God that he was actually a man after God's own heart, and of course becoming King David eventually. But he was also known for the secret chord, or the ability to play the lyre, which is also known as the harp. Now, if you look at some of the pictures, some have several strings, more than 7, some have less. My understanding, there were 7 basic either case, there was a certain tone or resonance, a certain frequency that would be produced by strumming such a device. And King David, in his anointing, because he certainly was one that was had the mantle, that when he played this, the demons, the evil spirits that were sent to him by God, per 1 Samuel 16:23 in the King James. Now, you'll read a little differently in some of the other translations, but so I default back to the King James, and it clearly tells us that these were from God, the evil spirits. And so I'm not here to talk about what that was all about. The speculation, in my opinion, is because he was not following the course that God had set him out to. When we look at the book of Enoch, we look at Jubilees, we see that the evil spirits, 10% of them were allowed to roam the earth. So those who were disobedient, those who were, quote, rebellious, then would have to deal with such things for the rebellion against God. Business as usual. So I think that none of the defaults back on 1 Samuel 16:23, that's probably the case, but that's not the subject matter of what I want to discuss here. But that's my opinion. In either case, the fact that David, when he would play, the evil spirits would leave him. It doesn't say that they pulled back or they let go. It literally said they left him. So God then allowed David to be a deliverance minister for Saul. Now, the fact that they would return tells me then that Saul then just never learned, eventually tried to kill King David, that there's a lesson to be learned here, that if you are not delivered and you do not repent and you do not return to what God has intended, the demons will not go away no matter who prays for you. So I think it's a prime example. If anything comes out of that, I think that is what I'd want you to know. All right? So again, King David, being the man after God's own heart, allowed David's anointing to deliver Saul for a time. All right. So again, it's hard to understand totally what's going on because of just a short line there. But again, my focus is on the musical notes or the frequencies or the resonance of the lyre or the harp and their connection with evil spirits for good or bad. Because as I mentioned a little earlier, that in the resonance there can be resonance frequencies that are good. Now, when I say resonance, then what we're talking about, that is the center point of a, quote, frequency. Now, you can have a bandwidth of frequency, you can have distortion, you can have spurious, you can have harmonics. And what this means is that anything other than the main frequency, then there can be what we would refer to as distortion, especially with stereos. You may remember when stereos first came out, I talked about Memorex tape the other day. Anytime that you duplicate, recording frequency, and you replicate it, you duplicate it, that whenever there is other things added to it, other than the fundamental frequency, so let's say you have a frequency of 100 hertz, okay, but because of the replication, because of the tape, because of the digital, because of the noise that's within the needle on the record, the speakers not being quite up, there'll be other frequencies that are introduced. There may be a fracturing of the frequency, otherwise it's not allowed to go from point A to point B in its range, and so it constitutes distortion. Now, in that distortion, again, you can have spurious, meaning that there can be an offshoot, that it is no relation to the fundamental frequency. It's another frequency in itself. Or you can have harmonics, meaning that it can be a subharmonic, which means half the frequency, or you can have a harmonic in itself, which is a doubling of the frequency or a tripling. So you can have the second harmonic, the third harmonic. But in either case, it's not the fundamental. And so you can then interfere with electronic devices that are not in the original band. So let's say that I have a transmitter that transmits at 100 megahertz. And because of the filtering, because of the oscillator in itself is not stable, it's influenced by temperature. You know, right now, it's amazing in North Idaho that car computers and the stereos in the cars work as well as they do because, you know, we've had 0 temperatures. You know, then we had a swing back up to 40 degrees. Well, that's quite a temperature range to influence electronic devices. So their stability or their performance alters and changes. It's a hysteresis. It's very common. So the challenge in technology over the years, especially from World War II, from crystal radios versus variable frequency adjustments, means to hold the stability, to hold the resonance down, to hold the harmonics down, to hold the spurious down, to eliminate any channel interference. When you buy a radio, you'll see it complies to part 15. When you get a computer, you'll see that it complies to part 15 of the Federal Communication. Well, what it means that in its operating range, because a microprocessor is also an oscillator, is also a type of transmitter because it's because of its oscillation, its on and off effect, that it can interfere with other equipment. And so they've set stringent laws in place for the specifications and its tolerance of manufacturing to lower the possibility of interference. Now, me as a ham radio operator, I have to be concerned that when I transmit, that I'm not bothering TV, I'm not bothering the neighbor next door on their radio, and so forth. And so I have filters and I have things that keep me from interfering with them. And if there's so much problem, then maybe I have to actually purchase equipment I have to install on their TV and their radios. Now, that's extreme, but it has happened in the past. So my point in this example is that the equipment that you're buying to relieve the psychotronic, to relieve the brain pain, the mind control, these things do not necessarily meet Federal Communication standards. They're Chinese junk. Some guy in a garage threw it together. So the point of it is whenever you have a receiver, then you have a process called heterodyning. And in its heterodyning, you actually have a oscillator. So you're generating a frequency that's transmitting out. And the tolerance of that frequency may not be very stable. Now, it's a phase lock loop, crystal controlled, and now we have software-driven radios, okay? But who put it together? What components are they using? Do they meet military spec? When you buy a good radio, like if you're a ham radio operator and you buy a nice mobile, you'll see that it's mil spec. Well, what it means is all temperature ranges and vibration and dropping and moisture, it doesn't affect it. Well, if you buy something that is third rate, you buy something that wasn't quite engineered to have your best interest, they're just simply trying to make a buck. Because here's the way the Chinese work. And I know this for a fact because I used to have to deal with the engineering of them, that in their philosophy, they will produce as many components as possible, as cheaply as possible, knowing full well that there'll be a return of the product because there will be a failure. But in their thinking, they're not thinking to give you a product that won't fail. They're looking at the bottom dollar, that they'll try and keep the minimal returns as low as possible. Do you see the difference there? Where we want quality. We want it when we turn it on.
You won't believe it. You don't have to work hard to learn a new language. Really? Yeah. The only thing you need to do is to work.
The components, a lot of the sub-assemblies that go into these devices.
How is money created? Where does it come from? Who benefits? And what purpose does it serve?
What is the money system? What is the money behind the money system?
Stop all of this. Well, in and itself, could it be harmful if operated outside of its perimeter. That's my point in this whole teaching tonight. So let me make an example as I go through the notes here. Okay, that there's also an attempt right now that the fundamental chords of David's harp, the lyre, that there's a change, a movement to try and take those fundamental frequencies. Otherwise, when you play a song, you know, I'm not a musician, but you have a note that what chord do you play in? You know, if you play a song, what chord do you start out in? What are you basing it to? What's your tempo? What's your time, right? Well, they want to alter and they want to change the original. Now, I need you to understand that with their calculations of making the adjustments, otherwise playing a different chord, meaning that the praise and worship teams of the church now want to mimic this new chord, this new frequency, this new resonance. And I need to warn you that, well, one, if David was doing it, he was anointed, and now all of a sudden man wants to change it, then I'll have to assume that what you're doing is opposing God's original fundamental frequency. Now, as I researched and looked into this, that because of the potential of the stars and the moons and their alignment and what they think that they're trying to use a factor, the factor comes out to 72. Now, what's interesting is the factor of King David's chords was 70. 70 is a biblical number. The 70 went out among to preach the gospel, to cast out demons. But yet now we have 72, which is what the basis of this new chord is, a demonic number. We have 72 iridium systems. We have 72 harp systems. Well, does the red flag not come up? So now we have churches all over the country have now gone to this new note, this new resonance, this new frequency, based on the occult, based on demonic numbers. What's wrong with this? Does this surprise you? It doesn't surprise me. When I looked into it and found it out, it immediately jumped out at me. I knew what they were doing. Because again, whenever you try and change your frequency, you potentially go into another band, another grouping of your mind. What is soothing to the soul? How does the mind take in the music? You can have audio noise that is offensive. You can be put on edge, like fingers on a chalkboard. Or you can have soothing music that puts you to sleep. Do you understand? So again, now we have resonances that, in my opinion, are based on a demonic number. And I'm warning you that, again, as I did a show about psychotronics in the churches, the voice-to-skull technology, that there is a resonance being transmitted within many churches. And how do we know this? Because the mixing board, the sound board, where the individual normally would sit in the back of the sanctuary, and where he could hear the choir, where he could hear the band, where he could hear the music, and they would make the adjustments necessary so it blended nicely in, for everybody. Now they're in a closed room. Well, that doesn't make any sense. How can you achieve what was the original intent by being now isolated from the harmony, the resonance of the sanctuary? Well, what they're doing is that these rooms are soundproofed. They're shielded. They're in a Faraday cage. And so what's happening is the transmission that's coming from the pulpit is not affecting the men who are operating the equipment. So what's happening is it's giving a euphoric feeling to the people in the congregation, and the devices are low-powered. So what it means is the closer you are to the pulpit, the closer you are to the pastor, the more that you are affected by this, giving you a false Holy Spirit, giving you a false euphoria, that literally in your mind you're thinking the closer you are to the pastor, the closer you are to God. Do you understand what is going on here? And I did a case study and verified that all through this country, that many of those soundboards and the sanctuaries, all of these churches all across the country are now being enclosed. And that was my voice to skull technology video that I did. If you go to Tinfoil Hat Club and go to on the right-hand side as you go down on the home page, you'll see the media button. It's in black and white. It'll immediately take you to the media page, and you'll see the voice to skull technology being used in the church. So I want you to understand that everything that's being implemented is not for your benefit. It's not bringing you closer to God. Then in reality, it's nothing more than, again, of the New World Order, along with double-duty cell towers, along with the satellites, along with all of the technology of mind control. And again, we're duped, we're deceived, right? So I use caution. It's my opinion. It needs to be exercised. That when you're, worshiping, are you in a church that is using this technology? One way to find out is the sound room. Is it encased? Is it enclosed? All right? So that's my point on that. Case in point. Now, I want you to understand that many of the people that I deliver that have received demons, many of them have received demons from the church. The influences on the body and the mind, per the frequencies, and per the open doors and curses that you have, that those two combined together can really cause havoc on you, okay? King David's courts chased away demons, so why is the fundamental frequencies and those things that are in the churches being changed? Jesus isn't even being brought up. Do you understand? So everything is being an attempt to actually infect you and keep you in bondage with this particular situation, not to set you free. All right? Those chords designed by God with biblical factors, otherwise a factor of 70, are now resonating a demonic factor of 72. All right? So again, this is not the will of God. So please be very careful. All right? So people not having deliverance are lacking discernment as well, because they've got demons that influence them. People without deliverance still have curses and demons. So now the subject of frequencies that would be stimulating and or bringing you closer to God are now part of the torment. All right? And I know this for a fact because I have now dealt with many people that have bought some of these oscillators to bring home, otherwise as Schumann resonant frequency oscillators. And what they have done is they've literally, for weeks at a time, and I'm not joking, I'm very serious here. I know an individual that at weeks at a time was literally hauled into the spirit realm. And the demons, just like people would think that the UFO and the Greys came and took you away, the demons would either come and torment them and even sexually assault them, or take them into the spirit realm like astral projecting. Again, a lot of people would think that they were being abducted by aliens. The whole time, this oscillator is sitting there keeping the veil open. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So please be very careful with these devices. And it wasn't until they finally turned these things off. Now, let me give you an example. I bought a device, 25 years ago, that was a white noise generator. And it had options. It had waterfall, had white noise, had summer rain, and then it had one that was like a railroad or trains on a train track. And it actually duplicated that thump, 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 thump. Well, before I had been through deliverance, I literally tried to use this because I was working nights and trying to sleep through the day. That had happened. It was a type of hypnosis, and I literally was taken into a realm that I fought for hours to come out of. It was horrifying. And I threw that thing away and never used it again, and that was 25-something years ago. And that's my personal experience of that. Okay? So I want you to do your own research. I encourage you to do that about these devices. Okay? Again, me personally knowing people and having to pray for people and deliver from that, getting them to finally stop using these devices. We need to understand, too, that with the spiritual demonic doors that are opened up, that in this visitation, that in like astral projecting, when you are doing necromancy, when you're doing clairvoyance, when you're doing divination and witchcraft, you're literally doing things that are against God's will. And so you give legal rights to the demons then to stay and have you, just like you do hard drugs. Same thing. It literally is a type of hypnosis. All right? So being tormented and being assaulted, then I'm afraid that a lot of you that are TI'd, as I mentioned before, with synthetic demons being electronic means generated, which again is part of this situation, but then also you have real demons because you haven't been delivered and you haven't had the curses broke off, all right? So understand, when it comes to the Schumann resonance, there is a very fine line between 7.83 hertz versus 8 hertz, all right? In that range is a very deadly range, all right? That in this, the organs can literally turn to mush. Case in point, 20 years ago, there was an air conditioner that was installed in an apartment complex, and it turns out that after the investigation and they looked at the nameplate, it literally said something to the effect of Principality of the Air Corporation, which there was no such thing. No one knows who installed this. No one knows who called to have it put in. But the bearing in the fan as the main fan that brought, air to all the apartments, there was a machining error in it, and it would literally resonate to that hertz frequency range. And what took place was people died, their insides turned to mush, people went insane, people jumped out of windows, people murdered each other. This is a documented record fact. It might have been Chicago, but in either case, this did take place. Now, here's what's interesting. When they went to investigate to duplicate this, the laboratory that was given in charge of this, one of the techs was working late. The one tech that was setting up the equipment turned it on. Now, you got to remember, that's outside your audio hearing, so you don't hear it. So we turned it on, basically went home, not thinking that the tech who was working in there would be subject to it, not even relating that when they came in the next morning, they literally found the technician who stayed late in such bad shape that he eventually died. He was basically ready for the loony bin. His insides had been damaged. So I want you to understand, again, that these devices are out there that are supposed to benefit you, and whoever assembles them, whoever manufactures them, whoever sells them, may not know what they're doing.
Exactly.
And they may not meet the mil-spec, military standards. They may not meet FCC compliance. That when you operate them in a cold room, or you accidentally knock it off the table, or it is and the components break down, that it then no longer holds the original frequency and can virtually tune into these very dangerous bands. Do you understand? And that you right out of the box. Who knows? They could be that way. Or who's making these things anyways? You don't think that the New World Order doesn't know about these things? Now all of a sudden they're on every internet website. You can buy them left and right. They come in all different varieties, all different shapes, all different sizes, all different powers to do this, to do that. Well, let's just be very cautious about this, because whenever you had people who were ill in the old days, did we not have snake oil salesmen? Did we not have carpetbaggers? Did we not have people who tried to sell elixirs to the sick, to the dying? Well, again, these people are opportunists. They see a dime to be made off the pain and suffering of those who are TI'd, those who are gang stalked. And then in reality, they may actually be these people who are giving you devices that in the flick of a switch, they may give you relief, they may give you the appearance, they may be a placebo. But in either case, the fact that they could potentially be in control of it, then at a moment's notice, could turn that machine that's now giving you the secret chords of David relief now turn into your worst nightmare. Do you understand? Same thing with cell phones, same thing with cell towers, same thing with Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi in itself, I'm determining now, is one of the biggest offenders of the pain and suffering that those who are electronically sensitive, same thing with smart meters, that
Smart
if you're
meters,
getting ringing in your
definitely.
ears, you're getting noise in your head, you're getting headaches, you're hearing voices, that Wi-Fi, you need to understand, Wi-Fi in itself is connected directly to the internet. The IF, or the IP address, is basically like a freeway, a two-way,
That's from
comes and
hacks.
goes, that it is literally under the control of those who are able to manipulate and hack, that all Wi-Fi devices can be hacked. They come from a manufacturer, they come with the ability inside as back doors that they can be used as necessary. So that's why in my office, I have chosen to go everything as hardwired. I've turned off the Wi-Fi on my router. If I do have someone who does need it, I can always turn it on. But it is not on all the time. I don't want it blasting into my head with them doing this. Now, the other thing I've mentioned too, that the SWAT teams now have devices that look like a tablet, and probably a tablet could be used with a simple device that plugs into the USB that sets the fundamental frequencies of Wi-Fi are like 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. That it is virtually like a Doppler radar, and that the signal that's flooding in your room, that when a SWAT team comes up to your door, they simply look at the tablet, which is a receiver of that frequency.
Wow.
That the propagation alteration that occurs because of your body being in the way of the microwave can transfer to their tablet, and they literally, like looking at a video screen, know how many are in the room, know where you are you sitting at the desk, are you sleeping in bed, are you standing up, are you laying down, are you sitting on the couch, whatever the circumstances, before they break in through that door, they know exactly where you are because of your Wi-Fi. Do you understand?
Yeah.
All this technology that we have is being used by the opposition. All this technology to be one of the instruments to be used against us. All right. So the apartment complex I was mentioning about where that bearing was bad and those people, that is documented, that is fact, and has been presented on some of these stranger and fiction programs. And since it is a public circumstance of death, that it is a public document. All right. So again, any device that oscillates like a transmitter that is operating within a tolerance can be altered and changed by temperature, component failure, damage to the oscillator, like knocking it off the table, and could cause the fundamental frequency to shift, going from something that may bring relief, that may be in harmony with your body, with your spirit, with your soul, to now in opposition. It can become white banded. Otherwise, instead of being tight to one frequency, it now may have several frequencies that are devastating to you. And it may be by design. Again, generating spurious, as I mentioned, that's a frequency that is not part of the original fundamental. And then those things that are harmonics. In either case, please be very careful. These snake oil salesmen that are selling these things, which only make $1, in or set devices within the home of those people seeking refuge, that they then have basically put them in chains and bondage without them even knowing it. Okay? All the time, you think that you have demons, just like